All right, it's still TVC Breakfast here. The 2019 general election is expected to cost 242 billion naira.
That's a lot of money. Now, this estimate was contained in a letter sent to the Senate by President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday, which was read on the floor by Senate President Bukola Saraki. Now, Buhari asked the National Assembly to transfer the funds appropriated for new projects in the 2018 budget to cover for the elections, insisting that it will be very difficult for the executive to execute the 9 trillion naira budget.
John clarify me hereby offer myself to be the governor.
Yeah, that was a mix-up of videos there. We're sorry about that. But we're talking about the provisions for funds being made available for INEC towards the general election for next year. We have a public affairs commentator, Ziggy Ibe, joining us right now. Ziggy, good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to...
There is a sense in which your name, Ziggy, sounds Jamaican.
No, Ziggy is a Nigerian.
No, this Ziggy is Nigerian.
Yes, he's a Nigerian.
That's really interesting. All right, now, let's get into the issue. On the face value of it, 242 billion naira for elections.
Less than what we had in 2015.
Yeah.
And an average Nigerian would say, isn't that too much to prosecute an election?
Okay, I think the question is too much for what?
Okay.
What is the money for? Between 2015 and now, things had soared up. And as such, you need, if not ×3 of what the cost was 2015. So appropriating such amount of money for an election that the breakdown had been given is not just too much. And the president said something. He said, to have adequate preparation. That word should be underlined, and anybody should look at it and say, why such amount of money? Why now? The amount is ripe given the situation we are having right now. And as such, budgeting such amount of money for an election that will be conducted 2019 now would give adequate room to begin to prepare for it.
Well, Ziggy, people are concerned essentially because of critical projects. The Nigerian project, infrastructure development. These are the reasons that people are worried. Look, this is an election. It was Professor Otiel Lumumba who said, statesmen look to the next generation, but politicians look to the next election.
If we talk about, okay,
yes.
if we talk about a project, is this not a project? It is.
But is it a project that benefits Nigerians?
Oh, sure. If we get our election right.
I'm coming. If, for instance, someone is voted into an office and that does not translate to development of infrastructure, provision of regular things of life. So how would that benefit
I
the mass
thought you
of
wanted
the people?
to say if the right person is voted into power, if the right person is voted into an office, the right infrastructure that we are all clamoring for now will be in place. And all this will come having adequate preparation towards having a good, credible, and fair election. So the money appropriated shouldn't be the worry here. The worry is hope the money will be used for the purpose for which it was appropriated. That is the worry. Given the situation we are having now, one would know that to run an all-inclusive election that will be credible, fair, one needs enough money.
Yeah, but
you need enough time for preparation.
Yes, but you remember the president is one who is against, wastage of funds.
We've not been told.
Who wants to ensure
the prudence.
You know,
Prudence.
absolutely, you know, prudence in the management of funds.
Yeah, but don't forget, the breakdown has been given. I've gone through the breakdown. I am not there. But then, a proposal has been made. We are not saying this whole sum will be given. In the wisdom of the people he has pushed this to, they might look at it and say, okay, we are cutting down this, we are cutting down that. So, proposing this is not in actually having the money being given now. Okay? So, what one should be worried about, or what Nigerians should be worried about is, let's make sure when this money is given, it should be used for the purpose for which it was given.
All right. Some Nigerians are concerned as to the will to deploy monies for some of these assignments, which is supposed to be anyway.
That's right.
But when you translate into issues of immediate concern, when it touches on security, for instance, when it looks like there is no money, we're waiting for Tucano aircraft from the United States that will come in 2 years and all of that. Now, 242 billion. When it looks like there is no money, we're waiting for Tucano aircraft from the United States that will come in 2 years and all of that. Now, 242 billion to be made available so that INEC can start preparation. If you flip the coin and look into security challenges in the middle belt, in the northeast, as the case may be, the way the promptness in pushing for those kind of funds doesn't seem to be the same.
We are talking about a project that will go up a certain amount of money. And that project will be carried out in 2019. And that project is at the center of all. Getting right election is key to our development, to our way forward. Okay? So if we are looking at, we've not as much been told that there was no money to go about curbing the security issues we're having in Nigeria. So if, I know the who's and cries now is about the huge amount of money, but going by all that will be expended on the things to be got for this election, to me, the proposal is not bad. And the National Assembly, who will look at it and, okay, give a nod, has not said anything. So I think we need to just keep our hands crossed until such a time when they would approve certain amount of money for this. But to me, it is a good way to go.
All right. What does it say to you, or how do you look at it when the president says that money should be transferred, in other words, through virement, which is, you know, a transfer of funds from a certain area to another area? He's saying, look, remove these funds appropriated for certain projects and bring it to the election, you know, purpose, for the election purpose. What does it say to you? How do you look at that?
In other words, let's move some money for a lesser project to a higher project.
Exactly.
Good. You wouldn't forget in a hurry that President had issues with the budget that was submitted to him. And he raised an alarm. He said, the budget I submitted to you had not got this increment. There were projects that are not needed, that I've seen already. Anyway, notwithstanding all this, I had to assent my signature. And he did. So coming back now to have a virement of certain amount for a project that are not really important, in quote, for a project, for another one that is more important. How do you look at that? I don't see it as a bad way to go. National Assembly, we've been told, had inserted so many projects that were not important, according to Mr. President. And he said, These projects, I have issues with them. But because we have this necessity, we need to go for general election coming up 2019. See how close it is.
And early as well.
Yes. We need to prepare early enough. And don't forget, we Nigerians, you know the way we shout at things when things are not done in the right way we feel it should be done. So early preparations towards 2019 general election, to me, is even too late to start preparing for it. Because, yeah, to have a good preparation for an election that is so key to a country, and the pressure is now, to me, it's late.
All right, let's look at the preparation. What are really those issues that monies will be devoted into for the preparation of the 2019 election that should come sometime in February, March next year? What are these, if I have to do a breakdown, for instance?
It is itemized. Security, procurements of election materials, logistics, and so many other contingencies. Okay? So all this needed to be in place for a successful electioneering time. When also you will have a shabby election just like we've been having. Okay? And the president said, for us to have enough time, enough money, because without money you can't prepare for all these elections. It's not possible. So for you to have adequate money to prepare for the election that will happen 2019, we need to start now.
All right, Ziggy, let's also look at the relationship between the National Assembly and the presidency, the executive. It's not been a very smooth relationship all the while. Yep. Now, with that at the back of our mind, this issue that is coming up, we also remember the latest being the Executive Order 006, which the National Assembly created a stand-up between the National Assembly and the presidency. Now the president is requesting this amount to be moved from some of the projects to for the purpose of the general elections in 2019. Do you think that the there will be a smooth transition?
Not today. We've had this frustrated relationship from the inception of this administration. And we're all Nigerians. I've been in this country since my birth. If things didn't go your way, you certainly would bellyache. And that's what we are having now. The National Assembly members are not too comfortable with the way the president is going about running the country because maybe certain personal agendas are not being followed. Personal to me. That's my opinion. Okay? And to me, what's supposed to be is the interest of the country, the interest of the common man on the street. And not necessarily will this law or will this opinion from Mr. President favor me. All we've been getting from National Assembly members has never been the interest of Nigerian people. And as such, we've had so many laws, we have had so many executive orders that has never been taken by National Assembly. The issue of Order 6, which compels the agencies to seize properties of individuals, might be a good way to go. If you are an alleged looter and you are being tried in the court of competent jurisdiction, what is wrong keeping in abeyance all the properties alleged to have been got by the money you stole?
Yeah, but the Constitution says until you've been proven to be guilty by a law court, you are still innocent.
Yes, and I tell you, we've been held down by so many laws that are not working for this country. So many laws we're having today, or so many dictates of the statute books are not from Nigerians.
Yeah, but we'll be
they were
using it all the
yes,
while.
we are compelled to obey.
And
we are compelled to follow it.
Yeah, but
otherwise,
when you think about the issue of fundamental human rights, which is a universal thing,
we've over-labored that, and we've abused it abysmally.
Exactly, because the tenets of
and
it is not being followed.
And because our laws are so loose sometimes, anybody can rise any day and do anything, and that's the evidence of what we're having in Nigeria today, and that's why our country is like this. Don't forget, the law we are practicing is a borrowed one. Your previous speaker said something, and he said, if we should involve or if we should introduce our own homegrown laws, this country might be better. Because introducing so many laws that are alien to us has not done good things to us.
Well, the point there is Nigeria is a part of the civilized world.
That's right.
And when it comes to applying these laws that are universal across the board, Nigeria cannot be an exception.
But don't forget that certain cultures can never be eroded. Otherwise, you have problem with the government of the land.
That's correct. Ziggy, but let's redirect our attention to the 2019 election. The Ekiti election has come and gone.
Yes.
Observers came out with their own position with plenty of complaints, and one of them was, vote buying, influencing, voters' decisions and all of that. And as such, it wasn't as, free and fair in their opinion. Now we have 2019 general elections coming as well. Do you think that we might be able to rectify all of these issues before the 2019 general elections?
Do you know sometimes why we have some loopholes in our arrangement? Because early preparations are not observed. Ekiti just concluded the election, and we are having pockets of issues with the way the election was conducted. We are not as much new to ways elections are being conducted in Nigeria. And somebody is saying we have to redirect the way we've been doing things. There must be a new paradigm. There must be a shift from the way we've been doing things to a different way. And that would involve early preparation and enough resources to put certain things in place. I tell you, I'm happy we are no longer having as much as we've been having ballot snatching during elections. I'm happy we've not been having as much violence as we've been having in the past during the elections, like Ekiti. All we've had about Ekiti wasn't violence, but money inducement. And that is early preparation. Maybe during general election, we are going to have all those things done away with.
All right.
Maybe when we are ready for this election, because we've started early enough, because any journey that you started early enough certainly will end well.
All right, Ziggy.
All right.
Ziggy Bay, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So many areas to look into, but the time would not permit us to.
Time is tight.
But however, we thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.